On the night of their silver wedding anniversary, Lena Moore expected a toast, maybe a diamond bracelet, perhaps even a dance under the lights. Instead, her husband, Victor Moore, handed her a brown envelope and said, loud enough for every guest to hear, 25 years is long enough.
I want someone younger now.
You need to be out of the condo by tomorrow. A stunned silence filled the room. His mother, Evelyn Moore, smiled like she'd known all along. Lena stood slowly, took the microphone, and said something that made Victor's smirk vanish. That night, Lena woke to faint whispers behind the bedroom door. The clock read 3 a.m. Victor was on the phone again with his mother. We have to do this right, he was saying. She won't suspect a thing. Evelyn's voice replied softly, Of course not, dear. Just stay calm. Lena's heart thudded. What were they plotting? And why now, just weeks before their anniversary? The floor creaked as Victor re-entered the room. Lena quickly closed her eyes, pretending to sleep, as he slipped under the blanket beside her. The next morning, Victor was unusually affectionate. Good morning, my love, he said, kissing her cheek. Let's pick the restaurant for our anniversary. I want everything to be perfect. Lena blinked at him in disbelief. In 25 years, Victor had never been this enthusiastic about anything she organized. Perfect, she repeated quietly. As soon as he left for work, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. A reminder popped up. Call us at 11 a.m. Lena frowned. S. She had never seen that name before. That evening, while watering the plants, she asked casually, Who's S in your contacts? Victor froze for a fraction of a second before forcing a laugh.
Sanchez.
A colleague from Seattle. Just consulting him about a project.
A lie.
She knew it instantly. His left eye twitched, a small, involuntary giveaway that always appeared when he was hiding something. I see, Lena said softly, pretending to believe him. Inside, her chest tightened. Something dark was forming in the shadows of her marriage. When they'd met in college, Victor had been charming, ambitious, and full of ideas. She'd fallen for his confidence, for the way he made her laugh when she was a shy accounting student. They dreamed of children and long vacations, of building a peaceful life together. But the years hadn't been kind. The children never came. The doctors found nothing wrong, yet nature stayed silent. Victor took it harder than she did, especially under Evelyn's constant whispers about grandchildren. Bit by bit, affection gave way to polite silence. A sharp knock startled her from her thoughts. Evelyn Moore walked in without waiting for an invitation, her usual thin smile in place. Lena, dear, she said smoothly. Are you ready for the celebration? She placed her handbag on the couch, as though she owned the place. Victor wants a restaurant, you know. That's good. Big parties show people how solid a family really is. Lena bit back a sigh. Yes, everything's being arranged, she replied, forcing a smile. Evelyn's eyes roamed over the living room, judging every corner. You know, Lena, Evelyn began again, settling into an armchair. Victor is 53 now, not a young man anymore. And with no grandchildren, she paused dramatically. I think it's wise to plan for the future. Perhaps you should write a will, for the family's younger ones. Lena frowned. We don't have children, Evelyn. Who would I even leave things to? My nephews, of course, Evelyn said quickly. 2 fine boys. It's just sensible planning. The government shouldn't get everything, right? Lena placed her teacup down slowly. And why the sudden interest in my will? She asked. Oh, it's nothing, Evelyn said lightly, waving her hand. Just wondering where you keep important papers. For safety, you know. The question was too sharp to be casual. Lena smiled politely but felt the air grow colder. They're in the safe, she replied. Evelyn's eyes glittered for a split second before she rose to leave. Good. You never know what might happen. When the door closed, Lena sat frozen. What are they planning? The moment Evelyn left, Lena went straight to Victor's study. His computer password had always been the date they met, but now it didn't work. He'd changed it. Her pulse quickened. After trying several combinations, she typed their wedding date backward. It opened. She scrolled through his browser history, and her heart sank. How to divorce when shared assets exist. Legal tricks for keeping the house. Page after page of guides on property division and spousal rights. The man who once promised forever was now plotting her exit. Just then her phone buzzed. It was Clara, her oldest friend. "Lena, you won't believe what I saw today," she said breathlessly. "Your husband, he was at a jewelry store with a young blonde. They were holding hands and looking at engagement rings." Lena felt the air leave her lungs. "Are you sure?" she asked quietly.
Positive, Clara said.
She was maybe 30, very polished, expensive coat, all smiles. "I didn't want to call, but you needed to know."
Lena's voice stayed calm. "Thank you, Clara.
"I appreciate it." But when she hung up, her hands were shaking. That evening, Victor came home whistling, holding roses and a box of chocolates. "For my beautiful wife," he said, kissing her cheek. "My one and only." "One and only," she repeated silently. What a cruel joke. She forced a smile and took the flowers. "Victor, we should talk about our future," she began. His posture stiffened. "Talk? About what?" "Everything's fine. Let's not ruin the mood. The anniversary is next week, let's enjoy it." "After the party," he said quickly. "We'll talk after the party." After the party. The words echoed in her mind long after he went to bed. He was planning something public. Lena lay awake, staring at the ceiling. She knew that voice of his, the careful tone he used when everything was already decided. But he had underestimated her. 25 years of marriage had taught her patience and strategy. If he was setting a trap for her, she would be ready for it. The next morning, Victor left early. "Big meeting," he said, adjusting his tie. As the door shut, Lena noticed he'd forgotten his phone on the counter. A few minutes later, the landline rang. She didn't pick up, but the answering machine did. Evelyn's voice played clearly. "Dee, I spoke with Mr. Hayes. Everything's ready. Just make sure she doesn't suspect anything until the last moment."
Hayes.
The so-called colleague from Seattle. Lena felt her blood run cold. The lie was complete now. Husband, mother-in-law, and lawyer all working together. She picked up Victor's phone. It asked for a 6-digit code. Her mind flashed back to the blonde in the jewelry store. March 8th, International Women's Day. That seemed like a date he'd choose for his new lover. She entered 030812. It unlocked. Message after message appeared. "Sierra, my love. Just a little more patience. After the anniversary, everything will be resolved. The condo will be ours." Lena sank into a chair, trembling. They were planning her humiliation together. Another message appeared from Evelyn. "Are you sure the condo title is in both your names?" Victor replied, "Yes, but Hayes says she'll sign the waiver after the party. We'll make sure of it." "Waiver?" Lena whispered. "You'll make sure I sign?" Her stomach churned. They intended to pressure her publicly, maybe accuse her of something. She copied every message to her own phone, then replaced it exactly as it was. Whatever they were planning, she would be one step ahead. By noon she was on the phone with Amira Cole, her university friend turned family lawyer. "Amira, can we meet today?" "It's urgent." "Of course," Amira replied. 6 o'clock, my office downtown. When Lena arrived, Amira hugged her tightly. "You look pale. What happened?" Lena hesitated. "Let's just say a friend is in trouble. Her husband is hiding things, planning something cruel." Amira smiled knowingly. "A friend, huh?" Lena exhaled and told her everything, from the midnight calls to the messages. Amira listened carefully, scribbling notes. "This is serious," Amira said finally. "But it's not hopeless. You still have power, Lena. Tell me, who owns the condo?" "My parents bought it for us when we married. Both names are on the deed." "Then you're safe," Amira said. "He can't force you to give up your share. But they'll try emotional manipulation. Expect a scene. Maybe public humiliation, maybe lies. So we fight back smartly. Collect proof. Move some money into your personal account. And record everything." Lena nodded slowly. "I can do that." For the first time in weeks, she felt a spark of calm. A plan. Someone in her corner.
"Thank you," Lena said. "How much do I owe you?"
Amira waved her off. Friends don't send invoices for survival. Just promise me you won't let them see your fear. When Lena returned home that evening, she found Victor standing by the mirror, inspecting his reflection. You look tired lately, he said without turning. Maybe you should try a little self-care. A gym, a facial, something. You've changed. Lena stared at him, unflinching. You're right, she said softly. I have changed. That night, while Victor showered, Lena opened their joint bank account on her laptop. Her breath caught when she saw the withdrawals. $30,000 gone in less than a month. The transactions were labeled consultation fees, gifts, and event services. She laughed bitterly. He was using their shared money to finance her public destruction. But he didn't know she had her own secret, something far bigger than his schemes. A week earlier, she had received a letter from Germany. Her father's sister, Aunt Greta, had passed away, leaving her entire estate to Lena, her only niece. The inheritance included a condo in Munich, another in Miami Beach, and a bank account totaling more than $3 million. Lena hadn't told Victor. She had planned to surprise him at their anniversary dinner. Now, that fortune would be her shield. Thank you, Aunt Greta, she whispered, clutching the letter. Your timing saved me. The next morning, she visited Mr. Perry, the lawyer who handled their condo purchase years ago. He was older now but remembered her instantly. Mrs. Moore, how lovely to see you after all these years. How's Victor doing? Busy, she said, forcing a polite smile. Mr. Perry, I need your help, and it must stay confidential. Of course, he said, his tone turning serious. What's going on? I need to confirm who officially owns the condo. Do you recall who made the purchase? Mr. Perry searched his old files. Ah, here it is. The money came directly from your parents' account, and you were listed as the sole recipient. Victor's name was added 2 months later, after the marriage. So, legally, it's a premarital asset? Lena asked. Exactly, he nodded. If you ever divorced, he'd have no claim unless he proved he contributed major renovations. Lena smiled faintly. He's never fixed a doorknob. Mr. Perry chuckled. Then I'll prepare the confirming document. Pick it up tomorrow. Walking out of the office, Lena felt lighter. She wasn't powerless anymore. She was prepared. But her relief was cut short when a courier handed her another envelope, this one stamped Germany. It was the official confirmation of Aunt Greta's inheritance. $3 million and 2 properties. I'm finally free, she whispered. For the first time in months, her smile was genuine. That afternoon, Victor called, his tone too cheerful. Darling, I was thinking let's make the anniversary grand. I booked the ballroom at the Wellington Hotel. 100 guests, friends, family, my colleagues. You'll love it. 100 guests, she repeated slowly. Yes. It's a silver anniversary. Everyone should see how happy we are. How thoughtful, she said softly, hiding her disgust. He wasn't planning a celebration. He was planning her execution. Perfect, he said. I'll handle everything. You just relax. Later that day, Evelyn arrived carrying an envelope and a smile too sweet to trust. Lena, dear, she cooed. This is from me. A gift for peace of mind. Inside was a business card, Hayes and Associates, Family Law. Free consultation anytime. Lena's stomach twisted. How generous, she said evenly. You're always thinking ahead. Evelyn chuckled softly. We all must plan, dear. Life can change suddenly. Yes, Lena replied, meeting her eyes. It can. When Evelyn left, Lena tore the card in half and dropped it into the trash. That evening, Victor returned home humming. Everything's set, he said proudly. The guests are confirmed. The menu's perfect. It'll be unforgettable. Yes, Lena replied coolly. Unforgettable. He leaned closer. At the party, I'm giving a speech. About our life, our future. She kept her tone calm. What kind of future, Victor? You'll see, he said with a smirk. That night, she barely slept. She heard him murmuring in the hallway again. After the toast, it'll happen, he whispered into the phone. She'll sign without a fight. Lena's chest tightened. So that was it. They were planning to corner her at the celebration, humiliate her, and force her to sign away her rights. But she wouldn't play their victim. The next morning, she went to the bank and opened a new account in her name only. Then she transferred half of their savings before Victor could touch another dollar. When she left the bank, she didn't feel scared anymore. She felt sharp, focused, and ready. The woman they thought was weak was about to surprise them all. On Thursday morning, Lena visited the German consulate to finalize her inheritance documents. The officer reviewed the papers, nodded politely, and said, "Everything is in order, Mrs. Moore. The assets are officially yours. The funds will be released within a week." "Thank you," Lena said with a quiet smile. When she walked out into the sunlight, she felt unshakably calm. For the first time in years, her future was secure, financially and emotionally. Whatever Victor had planned, she would walk through it untouched. That afternoon, she stopped by the Wellington Hotel to check the party arrangements. The ballroom sparkled with chandeliers and gold-trimmed tables. The manager, a cheerful woman named Mrs. Andrews, showed her around. "Your husband has exquisite taste," she said. "He wanted the best for this celebration." "How much did all this cost?"
Lena asked.
"About $45,000, Mrs. Andrews said proudly. "He paid in full." Lena smiled faintly. Of course he did. It wasn't a celebration. It was a stage for her public destruction. Near the entrance, she saw a young woman with perfect hair talking on the phone. "Dee, my love, the room is gorgeous," the woman giggled. "After tomorrow, we'll finally be free." Lena's heart went still. The voice, the laugh, Sierra. She walked closer, pretending to ask for directions. Sierra gave her a quick, dismissive glance. "Sorry, I don't work here," she said coldly before turning back to her call. "See you tonight, baby." Lena watched her walk away, heels clicking against marble floors. "Enjoy the party," she whispered under her breath. "It's your last victory." That evening, Victor was restless, pacing around the living room, rehearsing something under his breath. Evelyn sat nearby, smiling proudly. "You're doing the right thing, my son," she said. "She'll accept it with dignity." "And if she doesn't?" Victor asked. "She will," Evelyn replied confidently. "With so many people watching, she won't dare make a scene." Lena stood quietly at the doorway, her expression unreadable. "You're right," she said softly. "I won't make a scene." Neither of them noticed the faint smile on her lips. That night, she gathered her documents, the condo title proving it was hers alone, the inheritance papers from Germany, and her new bank statements. She slipped them neatly into a slim folder and placed it in her handbag. "You wanted a show," she whispered, closing the zipper, "so I'll give you one." Then she stood before the mirror, brushing her hair. "You are not weak," she told her reflection. "You are ready." The next evening arrived like the calm before a storm. Lena wore a dark blue gown that shimmered under the lights, simple but powerful. When she entered the ballroom on Victor's arm, guests clapped and cheered. 25 years, someone shouted. "Congratulations." Lena smiled graciously. The laughter, the music, the glittering lights, all of it felt unreal, like watching someone else's life. She caught sight of Sierra across the room, dressed in gold, whispering with Evelyn. The sight almost made her laugh. They really think they've won. As the dinner ended, the master of ceremony announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, please give your attention to Mr. Victor Moore, who wishes to say a few words." Victor stood, adjusting his tie. "Thank you, everyone," he began. "Tonight marks 25 years with a woman who has shared my journey. But life changes.
People change.
Sometimes we must face the truth." The crowd murmured. Lena felt her pulse steady. "Here it comes," she thought. Victor's voice grew bolder. "For 25 years, I tried to make things work, but I can't pretend anymore. Our marriage is over." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Evelyn's face glowed with satisfaction. Sierra smirked behind her champagne glass. "Lena deserves honesty," Victor continued. "She will move out of the condo, and we'll divide everything fairly." "Fairly," someone whispered. Lena rose calmly from her chair, took the microphone from his hand, and smiled. Thank you, Victor, she said sweetly. You're absolutely right. It's time for honesty. The room fell silent. Victor froze. What are you doing? He muttered. Lena turned toward the guests. My husband has been planning this moment for weeks, with his mother, his lawyer, and his mistress. The crowd gasped. You're lying, Victor blurted. She opened her folder. Here's proof. His messages, his lawyer's calls, even the receipts. But since we're being honest, this condo he mentioned? It's mine. A premarital gift from my parents. And last month, I inherited over $3 million from my aunt. The guests' eyes widened. Evelyn's jaw dropped. Sierra went pale. The ballroom went dead silent. Victor's face drained of color. $3 million? He stammered. You're lying. Lena smiled softly. I brought documents if anyone wants to check. She placed them on the table for all to see. So, Victor, there's nothing left to divide. The condo is mine, the inheritance is mine, and what's yours, she paused, is whatever's left of your pride. Gasps and murmurs spread through the crowd. Sierra looked as though she might faint. Evelyn clutched her pearls. This can't be true, she whispered. Oh, it's very true, Lena replied gently. And one more thing, Lena continued. Do you know how much my husband spent on this little party to humiliate me? $45,000. From our joint account. People in the crowd began to whisper angrily. 45,000? For this nonsense. One guest muttered. Victor's boss rose from his seat. Mr. Moore, he said coldly, I think we'll need to talk on Monday. Public humiliation isn't the kind of leadership we reward. Wait, Mr. Boudreau, this isn't what it looks like. Victor sputtered. Oh, I think it's exactly what it looks like, his boss replied. Lena set the microphone down gently. Thank you all for coming, she said calmly. I'm sorry this evening turned into a courtroom instead of a celebration. But the truth deserved to be heard. She turned toward Victor. You wanted freedom, Victor? You have it. Take your new love, your debts, and your mother's advice, and enjoy your new life. Just not in my condo. Lena, wait, he pleaded, reaching out. She looked at him one last time. No, Victor. I've already waited 25 years. Then she walked away as guests began to clap quietly, not for him, but for her. Inside the ballroom, chaos erupted. Sierra tried to slip out unnoticed, but angry voices surrounded her. So, you're the mistress? One woman shouted. How proud you must be. Sierra flushed crimson. You don't understand. Oh, we understand perfectly, another guest snapped. You helped destroy a marriage for money. Evelyn tried to defend her son, but the crowd ignored her. You raised him to be like this, someone yelled. The noise grew until even the band stopped playing. Victor stood frozen, staring at the door where Lena had just exited. Moments later, his boss approached. You humiliated your wife in public, stole company time to plan it, and involved your mistress in the mess. Clean your desk tomorrow. You're finished. Please don't, Victor began, but the man was already walking away. Sierra grabbed his arm. Dee, what about me? You promised me a condo. Not now, he hissed. Not now, she screamed, her voice cracking. You took loans from me, you idiot. What do I get now? Loans? Evelyn gasped. What loans, Victor? Victor's voice broke. It doesn't matter. Oh, it matters, she snapped. You used my house as collateral. The crowd watched in disbelief as mother, son, and mistress turned on each other. You're both insane, Sierra shouted. I'm leaving, and don't call me again. She stormed out, heels echoing against marble floors. Evelyn sank into a chair, trembling. My house, she whispered. My beautiful house. Victor tried to speak, but the words stuck in his throat. The glamorous evening had turned into a nightmare. By the time the staff began clearing tables, the once-admired Mr. Moore was sitting alone, surrounded by spilled champagne and torn confetti. Outside, Lena stood beneath the soft glow of streetlights, breathing in the cool night air. She watched her reflection in the glass doors, no longer the timid woman she'd been. It's over, she murmured. A taxi pulled up and she stepped inside. The driver smiled through the mirror. Beautiful night, isn't it? Yes, she said, smiling faintly. The most beautiful in a long time. As the car drove away, the hotel lights faded behind her, and with them, 25 years of disappointment. Ahead lay peace, freedom, and the sound of her own laughter. 3 months later, Lena sat in a courtroom as the judge read the final decision. The condo remained hers entirely. The debts, all Victor's. No alimony. No appeals. When they met in the hallway afterward, Victor looked older, smaller somehow. Lena, he said softly, I'm sorry. I was foolish. You didn't deserve this. She studied him, her expression calm. No, I didn't. But I learned something. You only lose what was never truly yours. Could we stay in touch? He asked weakly. She shook her head. Some doors closed for good. Then she walked away, light-footed and free. Months later, Lena's new life bloomed quietly in Miami. Her inherited condo overlooked the sea, and her small publishing company had just released its first book. In the evenings, she sat on the balcony with a cup of tea, watching the waves turn gold in the sunset. Her phone buzzed once with an unknown number. She let it ring out. Some stories didn't need sequels. Peace, she whispered, closing her eyes. That's the real gift. And as the ocean breeze touched her face, Lena smiled, not because she'd won, but because she had finally, completely let go. Please like, comment, and subscribe.